everybody. So happy to have you guys here. I'm just like bubbling with excitement today. Today has been such a crazy day, as some of my clients know, that the energy is just absolutely insane. And I have something I'm so excited to launch today. Let me just switch this view. Awesome. So we're going to talk about chakras. I'm the chakra coach, obviously, so I use chakras a lot in my trainings. And basically, if anyone doesn't know what chakras are, you can use the chat box, of course, to ask questions. But it's basically just our energy system. It's just a way, I use it as a map. It's a map to look into your energy system. And as we know, everything's energy. And what we put out into the world is reflected back to us. So we have the ability to change our energy and to change our entire life because of that very easily. So working with the chakras is a really easy way. We don't have to make these huge, amazing changes. We just make little minute changes and they add up, and we start to see that getting reflected back to us. And it can make some really amazing shifts happen in our lives. So I'm going to just quickly go over the different chakras, what they are, and then we'll kind of dive into, knowing how they're out of alignment, what that might look like, what to do to get them back, and some very, very exciting things at the end. So we have a lot of different energy centers in our body, but there's 7 major chakras that we're going to talk about today and just focus on. There are more than that. Some people dive into more than that, which is fantastic. But for today, we're just going to focus on these 7. So it starts at the base of the spine with number 1, and it goes to the crown of the head with number 7. And they go in order upwards from there. So the base of the spine, we have our root chakra, and this chakra is our foundation of money and family and food and our career. And it's like a really, really intense one. It can be a very, very beautiful one, but it's where many, many people are stuck because those are some really hot topics. Give me someone who does not have kind of a little, secret or hold up in one of those sections. It's probably going to be hard to do. And we go from there, and that's our foundation. So think about this. It's your energetic foundation. It's a big deal, So when we have a house, we'll say, if the foundation is shaky, if the foundation has holes, if the foundation has something stuck in it, it's going to be, the rest of the house will be shaky. Everything will be shaky. So this foundational chakra of the root chakra is crucial, is really, really important to address. The second one we go to is in our womb space as women, and there's only women here today. So this is our creative center. If you think about it, we create babies in this center, right? So it's a really, really powerful area for us. It's where we kind of have all of this juiciness. It's where we feel pleasure. It is also sexuality and sensuality, but thinking about just sensuality in your life and pleasure in your life and where you can find pleasure in the little things, not only sex. So it's like a really, really big, intense power center in us women. And a lot of times people, if there is anything going on in their sex life, they're just kind of, okay, I'm going to ignore that one, but it's this power center that we can tap into and find kind of the juiciness of life and really be motivated and excited by life, turned on by life, if you will. So it's a really, really big chakra that a lot of people, throughout whatever happened in their lives, like to ignore sometimes. So once we start to tap into that, it's like magic. And then we move up to the solar plexus, the 3rd chakra. And this is our place of confidence and power and will, and we get things done. It's the doing. It's this fire center that kind of keeps us going, keeps us moving towards our goals and our dreams and our visions. And all of your desires and these goals come from the second chakra. And we'll talk a little bit later about how they're all connected and they work as a system. There's not just one chakra that rules them all. Yay. Hi, Sarah. So yeah, again, you can use the chat box if you haven't been on Zoom. Sarah is a few minutes late. No problem. Love you, girl. Excited to have you here. Okay, so then we move up to the fourth chakra, which is our heart chakra, which everyone is pretty familiar with. This is our space of love, of course, and also of healing. Any sort of healing you've done in your life, when we have some pain and some grief in our life, our heart chakra is going to be affected. So another interesting thing about the heart chakra, we think the chakras go up in like a cylinder, right? If you think about our aura or our portal of energy, which we'll talk about, it also goes around. So the heart chakra is the center of all of it. It's the center from the top to the bottom and from the sides. So in a way, you can start there, and that's a really beautiful place to start, and just to tune in. And if there is, a misalignment or some stuck energy in the heart center, it's going to ripple out into all of the rest. Again, they all work like that. You don't just work on one. It's a system, but that is kind of the epicenter of all of them. So that's a really beautiful place to focus on. And we move up from there. We move up to our throat, the fifth chakra. And this is the way that we communicate with the world, the way that we let our voice be heard, the way we show up, the way we walk and talk, and, kind of our own essence. It's a really personal one, in my opinion. So people who sing, people who tell their stories, people who kind of share their gifts with the world are going to be really activating that space. We move from there up to the third eye space. A lot of people are pretty fascinated with this sixth chakra. And this one, third eye, it's your intuition. It's trusting your intuition and your path and moving forward in life. It's trusting, it's an inner trusting. This one is very much a personal trust. And we go up to the seventh one, which is a little bit more of your connection with everyone else, connection with a higher power, connection with God, the universe. I don't mind what word you want to put in there, so feel free to put whatever word, but connection with everything in and around you. So where the third eye is a little bit more of your inner trust, the seventh chakra is going to be a little bit more of, connection and trust in everything else. So like I said, these all have different qualities. It's like a map. We can all find places that we have some stuck energy and places that we might be really strong, places we might be a little more weak. But again, I just want you to think of this as a system. It's a system, and it's what I call our portal. So we are in charge. Each person is in charge of their own portal, their own energy system. You can shift it. You can change it, you can ignore it. I mean, there's a lot of options here, but you are in charge of your energy system. Lots of things happen to us throughout our life, and it may feel like we're out of control, but it's up to us to choose how we use that energy and how we move that energy around and how we choose to work with that energy. So when we talk about being out of alignment or having stuck energy or having any like limits in these chakras, that's exactly what they are. They're limiting beliefs. They're things that have been put on you. So a reason you might have stuck energy in one of these chakras is basically just our society being pretty crazy. I mean, you cannot listen to the radio or look at the TV or drive, and you can't not see an advertisement that says you're not good enough, that you're not beautiful enough, that once you make more money and drop some weight and dress better and, whatever it is, once you please your family and your man and everyone else besides you, you're never going to be good enough until you figure that out, right? So this is never our fault that our energy system may be a little bit stuck in areas. It's just how our society is meant to be right now. They've been putting this on us. I say they, it's all of us. We all judge each other. We all do this. We're kind of trained to be that way, but it's our it's our opportunity to go in there and say, like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to find these limits. I'm going to remove them, and I'm going to clean up my own energy system. Anything that's happened to you, to your family, the way that you were raised, getting in an accident, losing a loved one, so many things, being attacked. There's so many things that can put stuck energy into these chakras. So none of that's bad. None of that is your fault. And the most of the things that I see come up, I work with many, many women, only women. I haven't really dove into this with men as much, but I assume it's probably pretty similar. But at some point in my life, I will go there. But for now, I work with women, and almost all women I work with have similar energy, where we're very much in the masculine, and we're very much residing in our upper chakras, and we're kind of disconnected from our lowers. There's definitely a disconnect between the uppers and the lowers. And again, if you think about the heart is the bridge that bridges the gap of the uppers and the lowers. It's that connecting piece. So when we live in our upper chakras, we experience a lot of worry. We say it all the time. I'm living in my head. I'm stuck in my head. We live up there. We're stuck in worry. We have anxiety. We have this like pain and suffering. We're not really putting ourselves out there. We're always talking ourselves out of it, kind of. Why should I not? Instead of like, why me? Why me? It's like, why not me? Like, people don't say that, people just come up with the excuses, and we live in our head. So I find most of the people I work with are stuck in their head. They have anxiety, and they're in this masculine role of doing. There's a reason I work with these people. I'm a recovering masculine energy, whatever you'd call it. I don't know. Just perfectionist, we're all perfectionists, especially women. We have every single thing in the world to do. You have to take care of everyone at home. You have to take care of all the kids. You have to have a perfect career. You have to make like bajillion dollars these days. There's so much pressure on us. And so it really gets us into this worry, this masculine, this kind of go, go, go mode. So let me know. Raise your hand or put it in the chat box. Who's a recovering perfectionist here? Or just still a perfectionist yet to be in recovery? That could be an option as well. Yes, okay. We have Tina, we have Rachel. Yes, we are stallion recovery. I love it. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that fall into this, and it's not our fault. It's just how the world kind of is. And we've been kind of pressured into being this way. So thinking of this as our portal, when we are in masculine, when we have a disconnect between the upper and the lower chakras, we have a shaky foundation, right? We're kind of ignoring the bottom three chakras. The bottom three chakras are our personal body, right? It's embodying ourselves is these lower ones. And we're kind of in the mind, we're kind of in this, this is called align with the divine, right? It's very much about the upper chakras. But you can't go into the upper chakras without going into the lower chakras, or there is this disconnect that's going to, you think about the foundation of your house, the foundation of these lower chakras. If there are holes, there's gaps, there's this shakiness to it, that is energy leaving all the time. So people find themselves every single day doing the same thing over and over. Busy work, same thing. What we want is to build a strong foundation. So every single day you're growing and growing and growing. And we're building upon this instead of just doing the same thing every day and kind of getting in this monotonous routine of not finding our desires and not, starting to check things off that bucket list. Like, we have to be able to grow and to not worry about plugging the holes of where our energy is seeping out every day in order to get those things done. You can accomplish so much more than anyone has led you to believe, but it has to be this build up and this whole energy portal system that's working together, that there has flow in it instead of flow out of it, right? And that's the thing. We think of our portal, we know whatever's going on in our portal is going to be reflected in the outer world. So if it's really strong, if it's really it's in flow, it's in alignment. Of course, we use those words a lot, but it can also be strong and stable and have boundaries. All of those things. We want this to be a really, really solid container. And then you're going to see that reflected back to you. You're going to see other strong, empowered, amazing people attracted to you and opportunities attracted to you and things like that. So this really is your personal portal that you get to dictate what you're going to do with and how you're going to clean it up, and if you're going to ignore it or if you're going to, join it and be friends. And that's just the bottom line. So there's different ways to do this. When I look at our portal, we all have a portal that we've been building and growing our entire lives, right? Our entire lives we've been doing this. So it's already built. It already has boundaries. It already has energy flowing in it or stuck in it, whatever it is. So what we do is we actually break down our portal in order to build it back up, which can sound kind of scary, and I get that. But we already have a foundation. Are you going to build the house of your dreams on top of your other house? Or are you going to call that a starter home and sell it and start over? You kind of have to break this stuff down. We don't build on top of that. So we find our limiting beliefs. We find the stories. What happened to you as a kid and what story came about from that, right? And this is kind of the breakdown process. And there's different ways that you can break down. There's different ways that you can remove your boundaries and your portal that's been built and anything that's not serving you anymore. And you hear about these different ways a lot. So there's cord cutting or removing energy, right? I think a lot of people have heard about that. And that can be beautiful. And I'm never saying one of these is better than the other, but these are the two that I do. Cord cutting could be finding a story, something that happened to you. And I've done a lot of this work this summer of what my stories are. What happened to me and what story did I create from that? Right, so for me, I'll just give you an example. I'm number 4 in my family, my amazing family who I love so much. But I'm number 4. My mom, bless her heart, said, oh, by the time you came around, I don't know. The rules were out the window. I mean, in a way, this is great. But you were just kind of there. Never did she mean any harm by that. But for me, what I heard was, you really have to stand out. You really have to be perfect. You have to do everything perfect or you're not good enough. So my story was, you're not good enough. And I spent the next almost 3 decades proving how perfect I was, right? And that really, really created these huge gaps in my lower chakras where I had to spend all day, all my energy just patching. I was losing energy left and right. I got myself super sick by eating perfect. It was rough. It was a rough road. And I didn't figure this story out till this year, you guys. It's crazy. And I just said, wow, that's a story. And that wasn't true. And I even had a really beautiful talk with my mom about it. But it's not my story anymore. I did something stupid last week. I messed up last week. I said, you know what? I'm not perfect. And I just admitted it. I've cut that cord. That cord does not run my life anymore. So you can cut cords. And that can be a really beautiful way to heal these. There's one disclaimer I say about cutting cords, which I've experienced with some of my clients, is you're breaking down, you're cutting cords. If you already feel a little bit empty and alone, it's really hard to only cut cords, to get rid of everything. Now you're alone even more. You already felt alone, and now you're alone even more, right? So that's just a negative side of this. It's still really beautiful work, but you just want to be able to make sure you have the right support system in place for that, right? And we break down so that we can build back up, but you don't want to break down to nothing alone, right? So that's just an important thing to know. So the other way that I like to work with my clients, I do both of these. There is not one way, and you don't have to choose one or the other. I will never tell you have to choose one or the other for anything. As my clients know, duality is amazing. And non-duality too. It's all good. But the other way is by crowding out, right? So adding in the good stuff. So we kind of build this energy system, build the energy so strong, so strong, so strong. There's some things we have to remove. There's some things we don't know what we have to remove. And I had a conversation with someone this morning about this. Well, I don't know what's holding me back. I don't know what my problem is or my story or what happened to me. I'm just not sure. And so this starts action and crowding out and starting to fill. I'll give the example of a lot of entrepreneurs sit at home and think about their business and think about what to do next and think about the programs they're going to put out and think about what they're going to do later. And we're stuck in our head again, right? That same thing. We're not taking action. You don't learn without experience, right? So it's like a muscle. We use it all the time. We try things and then we say, what worked? What didn't work? What do I need to do better? So we crowd out. We add in the good stuff. We add in the things we know we want. This is putting yourself out of your comfort zone, right? So there's different ways we can do this. If you're healing some deep trauma that you know you're healing, sometimes it's cord cutting. You already know what you're working on. You want to really, really, there's a crazy spider in here. Okay. We're going to talk about Costa Rica too, so I'll be brave. I've been through this. So cord cutting with your really strong, supportive people, community, or crowding out and putting yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit and just saying, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to learn some lessons. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to be shown how and where and what is in my way. How do I get over that, right? So it's not always about knowing what all of your issues are. We can be kind of looking for blocks forever, and we don't want to be stuck in that either. So at some point we start to move forward and we start to do the work and to put ourselves out of our comfort zone so that we can grow and we can be shown the pieces we need to do. So we're working on all of these chakras. They are a system. You don't pick one. You might, when I talk about them, you might say, oh my gosh, yes, I have a really, this pain in my heart. I have a broken heart right now, or I totally ignore my second chakra. Like, don't talk to me about sexuality, or the base, your foundation. You're like, my foundation's not existent. Like, we might have one that's really, apparent to us that we need to work on. But once we work on one, it affects the whole portal. It's a portal. It's our energy system. So you can't ignore one, but you can start to work on one and it'll shift the others. But the best thing is to address all of them as a system. They're a system. We need to work on the whole system. And especially when we're crowding out and we're cutting cords, we want to work on them as a system. You're growing it. You're growing it. And you might work on one for a while. You might have one that's like going to take your attention for a little while. But we always want to keep moving. We always want to look at this as an overall and see how they relate to each other and what is going on, within all of them. I'm going to drink water again. Let me know what chakra you feel you have the most work to do in. I'm curious. And I see a little hand up on an iPhone, but I don't know how to address that. Okay, we have throat. Yeah, so expressing yourself in the world. Root, crown, and third eye. Going on the whole gamut. See, it's a system. I like that. Yeah, and that's the thing. We all work on all of them at all times. Solar plexus, yeah, so some confidence and just really showing up in your power. That's in your power. So I have designed something that is a way to work on the whole system. And there's different ways to work on the whole system. And it is, as a lot of you may know, because I've just relaunched all of this with the most amazing graphics, if I do say so myself. It's a retreat. It's a 7-day chakra retreat. And the thing is, we address every single chakra And we do it with grounding ceremony. We do it with a water ceremony, a fire ceremony. You know, we tap into each of these. So what it is that experience piece of you saying, okay, I'm sitting in it. I'm sitting with this grounding ceremony. I'm talking about the, cannot wait for the retreat. And Sarah's always root. Yay. I know some people here are coming to the retreat. The retreat is turning into quite the amazing group of badass women. I will tell you that right now. So we put ourselves into this, into the experience of each of these chakras. We have a day for each chakra. Okay, someone, iPhone says root and solar. Don't know who that is, but you had your hand raised, so if you could put a question in the box, that would be perfect. Root, sacral, and solar. Yeah, bottom three. I mean, that's just really common. So when you're experiencing all of these, the other thing, Sarah Small, yes, I will let you know. Thank you. And let's see, we have another question. I keep thinking that if I can actually do these things, I can turn it into a ritual. I cried reading the description for the retreat. I know this is made for me to help heal me. Yes, most definitely. And the thing I want to say about the retreat, we get into the experience of it. There's also a lot of cord cutting activities and type of experiences that could happen. And the most amazing thing, like, you can learn things all day, every day. You can read a book every day. You can learn, but unless you're doing it, it's not being integrated into your body. So what we do is we create connection, community, and support. So yeah, we're talking healing. Healing is really intense, right? We are getting together for healing, for empowerment, for rejuvenation, for transformation. So healing with these people, with this support system. So when you do cord cutting activities, you have the most amazing people there to catch you, to hold you, to listen to your story, right? And a really big piece of this retreat is we have 2 plant medicine ceremonies. I know some people here have sat with plant medicine before, some people have not. So the medicine we sit with is ayahuasca. So it's a hallucinogenic tea that's brewed. It's from the Amazon, and a shaman delivers it. We are there. We're holding space. There's a lot of women there that are holding space for everybody and leading the retreat. I'm facilitating it, and there's other women leading it with me. Anne is on here, and she is our yoga and meditation teacher. She's going to be facilitating a lot. But the thing about this medicine is it's going to basically open every single chakra, all of them, as a system. And you're really going to get a good idea about where your blockages are or where your excessive, energy lies. Some can be over excessive, some can be under. Anne was the one on the iPhone. Okay. I thought maybe because I didn't see your name, but wasn't sure. So it's going to open all of these, and you're going to have a community there to do it with, which is going to be a really, really powerful piece of this. So I've sat with medicine a lot of times, and I have found a little bit of something missing. So that's why I've built out what I've built out in this retreat with my lovely assistant, Anne, is we ground. Okay, so you want to be really grounded when you sit with medicine. Basically, what we want is for you to get the most transformation and the most support and the most care and healing as possible. So we have designed this for that. We take a few days to become a community, to become a sisterhood, and to ground ourselves. I would have loved to have you as a coach after I sat with Grandma. Anais, that's so good to see you. Yay, I know who the other iPhone is now. Yes, oh my gosh. Yeah, we're going to talk about integration. So I've sat with some of the people here. It's an amazing experience, but I feel that sometimes there's not enough time to ground. There's not enough time to center yourself, to start to get into this work, to see what comes up, and to really prepare yourself. It's going to be a really beautiful way to get started, and we're going to work through the first 3 chakras before we ever sit with medicine, just to become a sisterhood, to start to really empower ourselves and to clear down those boundaries so that we can build it back up. And then, of course, day 4. Day 4, the heart chakra, is when we're going to sit with medicine. And I've never felt my heart chakra blast open as strong as I have been in ceremony. This is insane. It just blasted open. I've never felt love for other people. And believe me, I love people. I always have. I've never felt love for other people as I have in that setting. And then we move to the next day, we sit as well. There's 2 ceremonies, and that's our communication skills. So really, with our heart being healed and moving toward learning how to communicate about that, I think you can accomplish anything. You can repair anything. You can really make moves in your life when you have these skills. And what we do is we share our stories. We share our stories with each other, and that's going to be the most important part of this. And starting to integrate it in our life is learning how to tell our truth. When we have a chakra that's out of balance, the only thing we're out of balance with is our own truth. There's something false going on in our energy system. So we start to uncover what our truths are. And then the beautiful thing about this specific retreat is the last 2 days we're together still, and we are integrating. So you go to this retreat, you have an absolutely amazing time, you transform, you feel great, and then you go home, and everyone's doing the same thing they were doing last time. And they all have the same things, and they talk to you the same way, and you're like, whoa, 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 I'm like a butterfly now. Can't you see I've transformed? And they might not see it that way. And so integration is crucial. And, your energy system, we vibrate, right? Our energy vibrates out. When you start to transform, other people start to naturally transform. Whether they know you're doing that or not, it just happens naturally. So other people will start to pick up on these shifts and see these shifts and integrate it themselves, or see blocks that they have, whatever it is. But really, we take 2 days together to plan for integration and to talk about integration and to really prepare ourselves to go back to the world, because we don't want to lose the people we love. We don't want to create blockages with them. That would make this worse. We want to open ourselves up to other people and show them what's possible and step into our role as our own empowered self. So you can have it all. I say that a lot too. Someone told me I was just naive, and I was like, you know what? Why can't we have it all? Why can't we be empowered ourselves and empower the people around us? We can. That's a choice. And we work on our energy system in order to get to that place. So I'm a coach. I coach on the phone. It's great. Some of my clients are on here. We make magic. And I would never give that up. And it's amazing. But to be in, when we're working on our energy system, to be in the energy of each other is unheard of, right? It's monumental. Things shift really, really quickly. My favorite thing of sitting in ceremony is becoming a family, a soul family with the people you're with. I mean, quite a few of these people that are on here I've sat with, and there's just this underlying bond that you will always have a connection with these people. So that's also a root chakra thing, connection, people, your community. A lot of people don't feel, they get on a spiritual path and they might not feel like they have the correct support, right? Because not everyone around you is on that. And that is fine, because you will have your people. Anytime you're going to make a change, you want to surround yourself with people that will support you, uplift you, encourage you for that shift, that transformation. So we become a family. We become that. We really start to grow this foundation together the minute we come together. The minute anyone signs up for this, really, everyone starts to come together and build this foundational piece. So change, spirituality, all of these things, you start to uncover blocks, you start to move things around. That's really intense. I'll be the first one to say it. I would never go back. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to ignore my problems. Believe me, I've had more hard conversations in the last 6 months as I ever have in my entire life, and I feel more alive and more free. right? It's a hard path and it's a great path, because every time you get rid of something, you open up more. And sometimes opening up means you create more boundaries for how you're going to live your life. But what you're opening up is your own energy to move within that. And boundaries are like amazing. People think boundaries are bad and you're closing people out. You're not. You're taking care of yourself so that you can shine out for other people in that way, right? So it's really, really important. So we're getting close to my announcement, and I am so excited. I just want to open this up, and if anyone has any questions, especially about plant medicine or this retreat is in Costa Rica, so maybe questions about Costa Rica. Most people on here have been to Costa Rica because those are the people I attract. And I'll just give you a little background about me and about Anne, who's running this with me. Is we both used to live in Costa Rica. We lived there. We met doing yoga. Of course, we're both yoga teachers. She's a yoga teacher, and she's going to be doing all the yoga. And we both sat with medicine, so we've grown together on this spiritual path. Our paths are different. Everyone's paths are very different. But we're part of this soul family, right? And we just wanted to create something totally different than what everyone else is doing. So we put together this retreat in this very specific way. My spider's back now that I'm talking about Costa Rica, to grow this. So let me check these. Share a bit more about what the plant medicine ceremony entails. We drink the tea and then what? Yes, of course. Thank you, Anne. So getting into details about this is going to be day 4, day 5, a plant medicine ceremony. We all get together, and it's a very, very intentional thing. If anyone has ever messed around with any, there's a difference between a drug and a medicine, right? So hallucinogenics, people have played around with those and used those recreationally. This is very different. This is a medicine because we use it for healing and we use it intentionally. So we get together, and as a community, we set intentions. Our intention of healing, our intention of community, our intention of being together. We set that, and it is very, very sacred going through this ceremony. So we're going to go to a temple. We're going to have our shaman, who is magic. When you meet her, she's pure magic. Also a female, so it's going to be all females. We sit in a temple, and it might last between 6 and 8 hours. And we all have mattresses. We sit in a circle, and there's music played by the shaman, which is like, and there might be another friend there that's playing music. That's like the best. I love music, live music. Everyone knows the most amazing music I've ever heard in my life. And you go through this experience of whatever it is for you. So there's no telling, what's going to come up. It's going to be your own things, but it's going to be a snapshot into your life. And my coach, I did a program with her, and she talked about when you pass away, there's 7 minutes. That's a stream of your life. You see 7 minutes of all your memories. And she says everyone's really attached to letting go of the past, not worrying about the future, and living in the present. And the present is gone, gone, gone. You can't live in the present. The present it's always happening, but it's always leaving. It's just too quick, right? She says the only thing you have is the past. And when she said that, this really clicked with me, and I related it to sitting with plant medicine so much. So, also, when you pass away, DMT is naturally occurring in our body, and that gets released, and that's what happens. It also gets released when you're dreaming, right? So these are all very similar. It's kind of a dreamlike state. So it gets released, and she said a funny thing. People don't and near-death experiences that'll get released as well. So people don't see the future and have some big transformation and change their life. No, you're not like, oh my gosh, I had a near-death experience and I saw my future. It's not how it happens. You see your past. You see the things you've done. You see all your memories. You don't get to change your past. That's false, right? We don't get to change our past, but you get to decide how you're moving forward every single day. You get to see that snapshot of those 7 minutes and say, I really did it. I really put myself out there. I really experienced life. I really loved. I really found pleasure. I really expressed myself. Or you get to see, I really was stuck. I really hid in the shadows. I really kept myself small, right? So that 7 minutes is kind of what it all boils down to. And I don't mean to make this grim, but it's a really good point where the same DMT, the same thing this is what ayahuasca is. So ayahuasca, when I did it, I have never known who I was more because I got a snapshot of my life, how I react, where my blocks are, how I'm feeling. Sometimes it's just saying, hey, babe, enjoy your life, find some joy, enjoy this experience. It's not always so much work, and sometimes it's a lot of work and it's different, right? But you get this snapshot into your life where you then get to say, okay, I'm really doing this. I'm choosing to live my life. And this is what an experience a lot of people have. I'm choosing to live my life. That might mean you make big shifts. That might mean you make big changes. That might mean that you actually are at peace with one part of your life that you're trying to find a block in. That's happened to me plenty of times, Ms. Perfectionist. Like, hey, no, you're great. You're great. Be great. Love yourself, right? So a lot of different things can happen, but it's a snapshot into who you are, how you walk in the world, what your energy system says to the world. So that's why we work with chakras. We get a snapshot into our energy system. You know what you need to work on, or not need to work on, but what you could work on, what you could up level, what you could grow, what you could make stronger. And the thing about this is integrating it. You can learn a whole lot of things. I bet you've read a book before that you've never put into play, or done a course, or learned a new thing, or said one day, like, oh my gosh, yeah, I totally got this. I talked to my coach. This is amazing, and I'm just going to keep going. And oh my gosh, I'm so inspired today. And the next day it's like, actually, I'm going to let my brain take over. And I'm going to just not. I'm just going to stop all that and just say, like, well, it might not work, so I'll stop doing that. So integrating this is crucial. It doesn't matter what we're talking about in your life. It doesn't matter what changes you want to make. Integrating that into your life is where the magic happens. I want to talk about integration. Okay, your spirit animal. Yes, so in ceremony, many times people will have spirit animals or guides, spirit guides, different things. There can be a lot of visuals. I am not a visual person, I guess. So I don't really have that experience. Other people do. It is so different. But it is a state where often a lot of people experience, and there's no guarantees, so that's just how I'm going to talk about this. A lot of people experience being able to ask questions and have a conversation, whether that's with a spirit animal, a spirit guide, and ayahuasca is a feminine energy, so we call her grandmother ayahuasca, she's called, so maybe a grandmother figure, and you can actually have conversations. Okay, yeah, but what do I do? Right? And you might be able to ask questions about what changes to make in your life. And you might not have that. You might just have the feeling of experience joy because your life is so great and you don't allow that, right? So there's a lot of different ways this could go, but you could have definitely the visuals or that sort of experience. Okay. Integration is always the hardest part. And you're better than great. iPhone, oh my gosh, so sweet. Okay. Integration is the hardest part, and that's why we become a soul family, because we're in it together, guys. None of us are doing this alone. Will there be someone there who is not taking the medicine in the event in case we have an adverse reaction? Is that common? Hallucinogens make me a little nervous. Very, very good question. Okay, so everyone there will be on medicine. The shaman, you can never tell because she just knows what she's doing. So it's also energetically about tapping into the same energy of the medicine. It's medicine, right? So us facilitators will take a little bit. A little bit. Christy's on. Hi, Christy. I don't know if you've been on the whole time, but it's good to have you on here. So we'll take a little bit. We'll be fine. We've all sat with medicine a lot of times. The shaman has a lot, and we will be there to facilitate anyone through something. So what I want to touch on is hard time, because some things that could be deemed hard come up. Usually, the question has not come up yet, but is there a purge involved, right? People want to talk about that, which seems like a negative thing. And I just want to talk about emotions. So we store emotions in our body, and we ignore emotions because we've been told all of our life that it's weak. Don't cry. Don't have emotions. Don't do that. It's bad. You don't want people to see you be weak. So we store them. And as women, we store them in our hips, our creative power center, right? This is all relating. We store them in our hips. That's why when people get in pigeon and yoga, they start crying. So the emotions come from the word emote, which means to get out of the body. So that's why when you're sad, when something comes up, you're angry, things come out of your body. You cry, tears come out. And what that means, that's the most healing thing you can do, is allow your emotions to run their course. Because that means you're getting them out of your body. You're not storing them in. So when you don't allow your emotions to run their course, you store them in your body, and that is how disease starts, okay? So emotions can create these negative, adverse reactions in our body. We've all gotten sick because we've been in an emotionally turmoil place, right? It happens. The same thing happens with the purge, right? Just woke up, got here 2 minutes ago, wish I lived closer so bad. Yeah, Christy's in Australia, and she loves purging. I personally do as well. It's my favorite part. I have worked through emotions before. I have had things come up. I've had snapshots of things I want to release. So we don't really release without breaking things down and without clearing space. We can't put more things in without clearing some space. So I've had things come up where I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm ready to let that go. Cutting cords, right? I'm ready to let that go. I'm in a ceremony. I'm not saying that out loud. I'm saying that in my mind, talking to somebody maybe, and it will come out in the form of a purge. And that, it could be any kind of purge. I've sweat before and felt the same. I've cried before and felt the same, but I've also thrown up as a purge and felt the same. And it's the best cord cutting experience I've ever had. I don't have it in my body anymore. I'm actually physically removing that from my body. So I've also heard people purging, when people are releasing something, like I said, your heart is wide open. So when other people are releasing something, there's a deep sense of gratitude for them doing their work. It's really amazing to have people release and say, oh, sister, you don't need that anymore. You're letting it go. That's so beautiful. It's amazing. And we all hold space for each other to do that. I've never witnessed a really adverse reaction, just those things. There's people there, and we are there to help through whatever happens, but usually it's crying. Usually, if anything, you need a little nurturance, and someone will be there, of course, to talk you through it, or to be there with you, or just put a hand on your back, which is generally what is needed, if anything. And this is a very personal journey that we all do together, but yeah, it's us looking at our own lives, looking at our own things. So moving through it is a personal thing as well. So, and yes, there are trained people to help move through it, but it's usually what we make up in our mind when we're stuck up there in that worry zone, is that it's going to be a whole lot scarier or adverse or hard than it is, So let me know if that answers that question. And so when you apply, also there's a really, really detailed waiver and medical intake form that you have to fill out. So if anyone is going to have an adverse reaction, there's only one group of medications that would put someone in that situation. We don't allow that person to sit. So we check in on all of that, and we'll of course talk you through any of that and do a waiver check, of course. Okay, so we're talking about transformation. Big, beautiful, crazy transformation, and integration is the hardest part. You're like, okay, I'm a butterfly now. I'm a butterfly. I'm going home, hanging out with all my caterpillars. I'm not saying the people that are around you aren't amazing, but I'm just saying there's a shift. There's a shift that happens. Your energy system looks different. You've all been around someone who walks in the room and everyone's like, who's that? And what are they doing? It's energy, right? They walk in and you can feel them and you're like, whoa, this person's intense, or this person's angry, or this person's happy. You can feel energy. You can feel people. So that's what we're shifting. That's what we're transforming. And we're going to take a couple days together to integrate and to talk about that and to share our stories with each other and to make sure everyone is heard. That's the best way I've found to integrate. But there's other tips and tools and tricks, and we're going to talk about that. But if no one has more questions, I'm going to announce my very, very exciting special thing. Because I have felt at times, and there's other people who have sat with medicine here that I think have expressed they felt this too, that sometimes there's not the support system in place for integration, right? And so I'm going to offer a special that has integration coaching as well, which is something that I'm starting to dive into. But it's going to be bigger than that. So we're offering a VIP option for the retreat that you can add on, that is going to not only come with integration coaching after the retreat. It could be a week or, probably within a month, but you go home and you say, I am on fire, I'm doing all the things, I love life, it's so great. Oh my gosh, this person said something to me. Okay, wait, that was kind of hard. That didn't work out. Whatever happens, within the first few weeks, then we get to talk about it and we get to work through it and we get to figure out how we're going to process these things. And we get to really, really start to integrate, which is huge, right? And the other thing is we're coming together as women, goddesses. We're going to embody our goddess. We're going to get in our bodies. We're going to clean up the things that are holding us back. And everyone on here is an entrepreneur. We're all working this same kind of masculine energy, and we're flipping. We're going to the feminine. We're going to receive love. We're going to receive healing. We're going to receive transformation. And you guys have seen my newest pictures, right? They're totally amazing. That photographer is the most incredible woman. I've known her. She's done these for me before. She just brought out this amazing energy. She is a total artist. She is coming to the retreat as a photographer. And the VIP option is going to be your own photo shoot. And if you've seen my photos, there's also a river there. There's nature. We're in the jungle. It's the most picturesque place I could imagine. And there is going to be a photographer that is very in tune with the goddess and very in tune with the badass as well. She's got both sides of this. She's amazing, and she's going to offer photo shoots. So that's going to be a VIP option. So you can add on integration coaching, yes, and photos are amazing. Thank you, Tina. You can add on a photo shoot and one-on-one coaching with me for a VIP option. But what I'm so excited to let you guys know is the first 5 people that sign up get that for free. So that's a $555 value, and it will totally revolutionize what you have going on, especially if you're an entrepreneur. This retreat will change your life for sure. And that might mean everything gets changed, and that might mean you get a really, really, great encouragement to continue on the path you are. Nothing about this retreat says you need to be fixed or changed. It's not about that at all. It might just be all of us cheering you on and saying, yes, you're amazing, keep going. So it's not something to fear. It's not that your whole life's going to change. It's just that you're going to be more empowered in your energy system. You're going to have a stronger energy system. You might work through deep trauma. You might not work through deep trauma. You get to choose what you want to do. but we have this option of really up-leveling it with integration coaching and with a photo shoot while you're there to really come back and be able to show this transformation. And even if that's just for you, so for days you forget, you can look back at those pictures and say, yes, I am reminded of that work. I'm reminded of the things that I've done. So for the first 5 people that sign up, get that. Also, one person did right before this, so 4. Now there are 4 because we had someone sign up right before this webinar that couldn't make the webinar. So it's a really, really big opportunity. It's a huge value, and just beyond that, the retreat is a huge value, and we've really, really put our heart and soul into setting it up in a way that's going to be the most supportive for everyone. So I'm excited. I want to know if you're excited. Christy says, I highly recommend sitting with medicine, even if you're nervous, it's so worth it. Yeah, I highly recommend it too, of course. There's also a piece of, if you don't want to do it, don't push yourself to do it. We never want to push someone to do it. If you feel called, nerves are fine. Nerves are fine. We can support nerves. If you feel like this is like a terrible idea and I shouldn't do it, you should listen to that. And I support that as well, So it's really a personal calling. If you feel called to do it, we would love to have you there, She pointed out the very reason I'm nervous. My chakras are off. I'm stuck in my head. Yeah. So nerves, I was like trembling the first time I did it because it's new. You're putting yourself out of the comfort zone. You are experiencing life. You're saying, you know what? I'm here. I'm ready. Let's do this. That's a scary thing for people to do, right? So that's normal. If there's any aversion in a bigger way than that, then just reach out. We can talk about it. I would never want to push someone to do something that they didn't want. But I do want to offer and open this invitation up to these amazing women. The people on this call are amazing. And offer this to you guys because it's deeply transformational and it's set up in a way that is going to be really, really supportive. So let me know if anyone has questions. I will post right here, but also I think most of you have it. There is a link to the retreat. You can read about it, and there is an application process that everyone has to go through the application and waiver process so we can get to know you a little bit more. And I just wanted to get on here and I wanted to really let everyone know what my intentions are with this retreat, why I work with the chakras, why I am holding people's hand through deep healing. It's a messy place. It can be really messy, and I've had people hold my hand through it. And not just this, but my clients, everything. Like, healing is worth it always. And it can be messy, but I know what it feels like to not do it and to push that away, and that got me to a really scary place. So I'm here. I have learned things that I just can't keep in, right? So I just want to open this invitation up to you guys, and if you feel the call, to please join us and to reach out. And any question is a great question. Tina says, transportation from the airport, will there be a group caravan? Yes, there will be, and that's included. So the flight is not included. Everything else is, once you get there, it's included. So all the food, the accommodation, there's different options for private or shared. The ceremonies, all of the coaching, all of the chakra work, all of the yoga, all of the meditation, and we're really scheduling some downtime so you can process, so you can work through this stuff, so you can connect with your other the group members that are there. So it's laid out in a really beautiful way. Everything's included once you land in the airport. So again, this is in Costa Rica. It is December 8th to the 15th, and I wanted to do this in December because there's the end of the year where there's this huge opportunity to really step up and to really say, hey, I am ending this year high. I'm just doing it. I'm transforming and setting myself up for the next year to be totally incredible. Like I said, it's about building upon before. So we want to set up this huge, huge foundation, because a lot of times we just say like, okay, next year, okay, next year, okay, next year. We get through the whole year and we find we never did the work, you know. So it gives you this opportunity to really end the year on this really, really transformative, amazing note, so that you're setting yourself up foundationally for the most epic 2019 as well. Anne, thank you. Incredible guide in many ways. This will be amazing, as are you. And so I wish Anne was on here too, but we don't live in the same town. She's amazing. We will be doing a live video next week where you can meet her. Incredible yoga instructor. So thank you, Anne. And are the excursions extra? And you think you saw a hand poke tattoo? Yes. Okay. There are options for excursions if that's something you want. Every ceremony and everything we're doing for the retreat will be at the retreat center. But yes, you can totally go on excursions if that's something your heart is calling for, and we can set those up at the retreat center, and those are extra. There is someone that will be there, another woman who has sat with medicine many, many times, and she's going to be there helping facilitate and hold space. And she does hand poke tattoos and also Thai massage. So those are extra. The hand poke tattoo ceremony, let me turn my skin. I did this one this last year with my husband. And so I've sat in ceremony a lot, right? So this ceremony of this hand poke was one of the most incredible ceremonies I've ever had. I had zero expectation for that, and it was completely magical. I worked through blocks during it. So she holds space for women in a way that I've never experienced before. That's why we have invited her to be part of our team for this retreat. So you can definitely get a hand poke tattoo if that is something that you're feeling called to. And also she does Thai massage, and there's other excursions like going to the beach or waterfalls or things like that. Again, we're on a magnificent river right there, so there is plenty of beauty right there, but there's options for that as well. Yes, build me up. Yes, the point is break down some things we don't need, build up the things that we do need, and we do it as this community. So if there's any other questions, please don't hesitate to just reach out to me. If you want to talk to any of the other people that are facilitating the retreat, let me know. I can connect you with them. And yes, so this opportunity is open for 4 more people. After that, the option to add on the VIP will be there, but it'll just be that $555. So if you want to get that for free, then it will be there as long as it is there, and one is already gone. So let me know. I appreciate you guys so much for being on here and talking through this. Again, any questions about chakras, feminine and masculine energy, any of it, please just send them my way. I'm sending you guys all the love, and I will be in contact with you guys soon. Have a great night.